Devil May Cry 3 is thought of as the best Devil May Cry game, and one of the best character action games ever. So I had some high hopes going into this game. I usually see it ranked above Devil May Cry 5, my favorite video game of all time, so is it better than DMC5? Is it better than any video game you or I have played? Well, stick around and find out. Before we actually start with the game, you might be wondering why I'm skipping Devil May Cry 2. And if you're familiar with that game, you might not be asking that question. I'll answer it anyway. I did play a little bit of it, and I made it up to Mission 2, but the game was just so boring and soul-devouring that I didn't want to play it any more than the little I did. If I had to give a specific reason, it's that there's no actual combat in the game. Just walk forward, find some enemies, keep on mashing the shoot button, and you're good. So I decided that I didn't want to play it at all, and just decided to skip to 3. So, to actually begin with the game, it takes place about 9 years before DMC1, so we see Dante in his currently unnamed shop. But, next thing you know, some weird-looking guy walks in and confirms Dante's identity. Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, he says his brother has an invitation for him, and he flips the desk and leaves. And right as Dante is about to take a bite of his pizza, he's attacked. What does he do? Well, he turns this cutscene into one of the best in gaming. I know it's certainly one of my favorites.
This party's getting crazy. Let's rock. Don't bet on it.
Yes, I did have to show you the entire thing. It's that good. Anyway, we get into the game. Immediately, you can tell this game is a bit faster than DMC1. Attacks come out faster, you recover faster, everything is just faster, and I love it. We start with Ebony and Ivory, but we have a new weapon, Rebellion. In DMC5, we learned that Rebellion was one of Sparta's weapons and it holds a little bit of his power. I question why Dante used Force Edge in DMC1 when DMC3 shows he already had Rebellion, but I guess Rebellion just didn't exist back in 2001. The ranking system also isn't as strict as it was in DMC1, and there's a meter showing how far down your rank is going, or how close you are to the next rank. This is obviously preferable to how it was in DMC1, where you kinda just have to feel out how long your rank would last. So, you beat all the enemies, and Dante puts on his coat in probably the coolest way possible. Notice how he doesn't even put a shirt on, it's just his coat and a little strap. I love this guy. In the next mission, you can see how the items from the last game return. Vital Stars, Devil Stars, and blue, purple, and yellow orbs. Red orbs are also back, and they serve the same purpose as last time, currency. Our first boss is the Hell Vanguard. It's a pretty simple fight, keep on wailing on it until it starts deflecting, dodge its attack, and go back to attacking. In the next cutscene, we see a giant tower erupt from beneath the ground. This is Temendi Gru, the main way to move between the human world and the demon world. And we see a guy in a blue coat up there. This guy is Virgil, Dante's twin. Remember Nello Angelo? Yeah, this is him 9 years prior. Anyway, we see the guy who met Dante at his shop, Arkham, and Virgil up there talking. Virgil says that the amulet his mother gave him has some sort of true power Dante doesn't know about, which of course is that it's the key to the demon world. Remember that the amulet was split between Dante and Virgil needs both halves of the amulet to access the demon world. The Hell Vanguard comes up there, and although we just had a whole boss fight against it, Virgil just... Well, that ends the Vanguard. And finally, we see a lady on a motorcycle going up to Semenny Grue. Now that we're done with what's basically the tutorial, I think I should now mention the big change between Dante in DMC1 and Dante in DMC3, his styles. Basically, remember how the B-bind didn't do much in DMC1? They've changed that, and it changes the function based on what style you've picked. There's the Trickster style, which gives you more mobility, allowing you to dash around, run up walls, and teleport around enemies. There's the Swordmaster style, which lets you get more moves from your melee weapons. There's Gunslinger, which lets you get more moves from your guns, and there's Royal Guard, which lets you block attacks. For my playthrough, I used Trickster the whole time. There are two things I don't really like about the styles in this game. First, when you pick one, you stick with it until you reach the Customize menu. You can't change at all. For example, say you need some more melee combos, like for a combo ejectator, you're out of luck unless you've got a divinity statue next to you. You get a lot more customization if you could switch on the fly, like in DMC 4 and 5, and they'd probably be more useful. Like, tell me, how are Swordmaster, Gunslinger, and Royal Guard useful in platforming? However, they probably didn't do this due to some sort of technical limitation. Ah well, I guess that's something 4 and 5 do better than this game. The second thing is that you level up these forms. The more you use a form's abilities, the more EXP that form gets, and it levels up after certain EXP thresholds. I'd much prefer how it works in DMC 4 and 5 where you buy the form level ups. I've heard that EXP and buying the level ups are pretty much the same thing, but I would disagree. Say I'm finished leveling up Trickster. I want to start leveling up Swordmaster so I can use it later whenever I may want to, but I really like Trickster's abilities and want to use them. Well, I'm out of luck in DMC 3. In DMC 4 and 5, I can keep using a style while leveling up other styles. In Mission 3, we got our first new weapon, the shotgun from DMC 1. It functions identically, but here we find out that you can swap weapons with just the press of a button. Well, in DMC 1, you could swap between Alistar and Ifrit by clicking the right analog stick, but I didn't know this back then, and the game never told me, so I never mentioned it. And besides, that was only for those two weapons. But regardless, you can swap in DMC 3. For those melee weapons, hit the right trigger, and for the guns, the left trigger. The shotgun itself is just fine. It's the same as it was in DMC 1. In Mission 3, we find our first divinity statue. It serves the same function it did in DMC 1, buy upgrades for your weapons and new items. You can also swap your styles here. After the statue is another boss, Cerberus. And before the actual fight though, can I mention just how quippy Dante is in this game?
Wow, I've never seen a talking mud before. You know, in a dog show, you definitely take first place. Easy, Fido. How about I take you out for a walk? Come on, puppy. Let's go. It's showtime. Come on.
Yeah, he was kinda like this in DMC 1, but it was amplified in this game, and I love it. Anyway, Cerberus has 3 heads, so that's 3 places to attack. Well, 5 actually, as you can also attack his feet. He's got a few attacks like dropping icicles from the ceiling or turning the floor into ice and damaging you. After he reaches a certain HP threshold, he switches to fire. His attacks don't really change much from what I remember. He gains a new pounce move that I can usually dodge. After the fight, you get a new melee weapon, some 3-handed nunchucks named after Cerberus. Dante's pretty cool with it. And next, a cutscene where the mysterious lady and Dante meet. She just immediately shoots a rocket at him, and instead of just dodging and letting the rocket hit the wall, he does this. Mission 4 is kinda cool as you're in a spiral staircase and you need to keep on going through doors leading to side rooms to progress. The boss is Gigapede. The boss is not too fun. It moves pretty quickly, and it'll retreat into holes in the wall where you can't attack it, so you don't have much time to deal damage. In addition, it's always flying, so your best bet is to use your guns, which don't deal much damage. You can always try and jump on top of Gigapede, and you can deal some good damage this way, but you won't always know which hole Gigapede can come out of, and after a few combos, Gigapede will always shake you off, and you're back to square one. Overall, not fun. And after this boss, I just switched to easy mode. If you're wondering, you unlock it the same way as you did in DMC1, just die a few times. Yo, recording is shit here. This is different because I'm not editing, this is me while I'm recording. I switched to easy mode after the fight against Cerberus, not the fight against Gigapede. In Mission 5, Dante meets someone looking like a clown. His name is Jester and he knows a good bit about the Dominion Groove. So he's here to help Dante through the tower, while also being annoying at the same time. He knows Dante a lot at the least. In this mission, we also meet some new enemies, Blood Goyles. These guys are incredibly simple to fight and it's more boring than fun. Keep on shooting at them, they drop and turn to stone, and then hit them with Rebellion. As I said, simple, boring, and unfun. After dealing with them, you have a fight with Jester, which doesn't make too much sense. Yes, Dante finds him annoying, but he also just helped us progress and he hasn't done anything wrong. Fun fact, the 3 fights against Jester were added in the Special Edition. He appears in Mission 5, 12, and 17. The Mission 5 fight is mandatory, and when you run across him again in Missions 12 and 17, don't bother fighting him. You don't get anything for doing so, and in my opinion the fight isn't too fun. He keeps on teleporting away, but eventually he just stands still and takes your hits. He then eventually dies. The mission also has what I believe is the first instance of a combat ejecticator. And apologies if I mispronounced that word, it's not my fault, nobody has ever said that word in the history of ever. Basically, you need to hit them with a specific weapon, and you need to get your combo rank high enough with just that one weapon. In the case of this ejecticator, by the Allspark, that's a long word, you need to hit it with Cerberus, and you need to achieve an A rank. And by doing so, you get a blue orb fragment. As a reminder, blue orbs extend your max health, and fragments of blue orbs are scattered around the stages. After you get 4 fragments, you get 1 blue orb. For this mission's boss, well, we aren't fighting a demon exactly. Instead, we're fighting 2 swords that control bodies. Agni is the red one, Rudra is the blue one, and together they are known as Firestorm. This is a cool fight as you fight 2 demons at once, both being challenges in their own right. Each has its own health bar, and I recommend focusing on just one of them. I usually go for Agni first. However, just because you've taken out one of them doesn't mean the fight is any easier afterward. After you've taken out one of them, the other weapon will pick up the leftover sword and begin dual wielding. It's actually a really cool idea, I don't think I'd have come up with it. But of course, Dante defeats them and impresses the 2 with the sword skills. He takes the 2 with him, but on one condition.
No talking. Good.
In Mission 6, not too much happens, but we see the mysterious lady meet Arkham, and it's revealed that Arkham is the lady's father. And Arkham throws the lady off the tower to her death, and who catches her but Dante? She shoots him, and she learns he's a demon. The actual content of Mission 6 isn't much to write about, and the same goes for most of Mission 7. Keyword, most. The boss of Mission 7 is Virgil. Before we even get to the fight, of course, we have a cutscene where Dante jokes around for a moment. And we can see how Virgil is the only person who can face Dante in this category.
You showed up.
You sure know how to throw a party. No food, no drinks, and the only babe just left.
My sincerest apology, brother. I was so eager to see you, I couldn't concentrate on preparations for the bash.
Whatever. At any rate, it's been a whole year since we last met. How about a kiss from your little brother? Or better yet, how about a kiss from this? This is what they call a heartwarming family reunion, eh?
You got that right.
Once the fight actually starts, you can see that Virgil is also the one who can really stand up to Dante physically. Most of the time he teleports to you and you need to quickly dodge or else you'll be caught in a combo. He also doesn't have too many openings, but if you can catch him, you can deal a lot of damage. And don't bother shooting at him, he'll catch the bullet with his sword. However, you'll notice that he's got something called a revenge value. Notice how after I deal a certain amount of damage, Virgil immediately gets out of my combo and retaliates it? Yeah, I think that's cool. It also forces you to be on your toes and try to feel out this value, since there's no indication by the game as to when Virgil reaches it. Also something cool to note is that during the fight Virgil's hair will drop and his hair becomes just like Dante's. After the fight you get this cutscene. Dante has been absolutely demolishing everyone, but not only can Virgil keep up, he's probably even better. Case in point...
Foolishness, Dante. Foolishness. Might controls everything. And without strength, you cannot protect anything. Let alone yourself.
Yeah, damn. Normally this would be the end, but not for Dante. He goes into a zombie-like state, and thanks to rebellion being lodged in his chest, he unlocks his devil trigger. And we see Dante running down to the menu groove and getting swallowed by Leviathan. I think it's neat that we see Dante being cool while still messing up in ways he would never do when he gets older. Now, so far I've been going through the game mostly mission by mission, detailing what happens in the story and mission. Now that we've completed the game first act, I'll quit with that and just talk about what I think is cool enough to talk about. The boss of Mission 8 is cool, as the main thing you need to kill is the heart of the Leviathan, but it has a barrier that only lifts when you defeat the other hearts on the mains right or left. It's neat. In Mission 9, Dante meets up with the lady again, and here we learn that she doesn't have a name, so Dante just calls her Lady. The boss of this mission is a demon named Nevin, and she's something called the Lian Shi. Basically, a Lian Shi is a creature from Irish folklore, and she's a beautiful supernatural woman who takes a human lover. Their lovers are said to live brief but highly inspired lives. With the history lesson done, her fight is an interesting one. She is invincible until you drop whatever she's standing onto the floor, then you can land a combo. But during the time she's invincible, you've got to dodge her scythe attacks. Eventually, she starts throwing some lightning at you, dropping from the ceiling, and turning the entire floor into some lightning. She also creates some lightning pillars and throws them at you. But of course, she is no match for Dante, and she turns into a devil arm for him. The devil arm is an electric guitar, and... Yeah, of course he does that. DMC3 has a pretty good soundtrack. If I'm being honest, I don't remember many of the actual stage themes, but the battle themes are pretty good. They have vocals now delivered by Shooty HG, and they are incredible. The game also has the main theme, Devils Never Cry. This song is absolutely incredible, probably my second favorite DMC song, and probably the song to capture the essence of Devil May Cry. Back to the game, we see Arkham and Virgil opening a door in the tower, and now that it's open, Virgil stabs Arkham, and we learn that Arkham is the one who killed Lady's mother, his own wife. Virgil thought that Arkham would be more useful to him, but after seeing how Arkham couldn't even kill his own daughter, he decided Arkham had served his purpose. In the next cutscene, we see Dante and Lady come across Arkham's body. Lady believes that Dante killed him and shoots him. Well, she misses, and we get these two having a duel with their guns. But we see that Arkham isn't dead, and he decides to lie to Lady, telling her that Virgil possessed him to do all the horrible things he's done. In Mission 11, we fight Beowulf, a giant lion-like thing. For the early bits of the fight, he's pretty vulnerable. However, after he loses about 30% health, he starts dropping things from the ceiling and throwing them at you. As I said, I used Trickster for my whole playthrough, and you'll feel really good when you dodge the pillars at the last second. I guarantee Dante actually does this when fighting Beowulf. However, an interesting thing about this fight is that you don't win it. Gameplay-wise, sure, you win. Dante does not. He blinds Beowulf, but yeah, he escapes. Meaning no new weapon for you. Mission 12 has an interesting fight. You're fighting a giant horse with a carriage behind it. I don't have much of a strategy or anything cool to say. I do have a mistake I made though, don't go for the carriage. Damaging it does nothing, just aim for the horse. However, after beating it, you get a brand new style, Quicksilver. I've never used it, so I have no actual clue as to what it does, but judging from the description, it's some sort of time manipulation style. I'm gonna guess it works just like Chaos Control. Right after the fight with the horse, we see a cutscene with Virgil entering what I assume is some sort of control room. But first, Beowulf finds him, and because he has no sight, he thinks he just found Dante again. And then he notices just how swiftly he's been defeated, but by then...
What is smell? There are two of them. That excellent Sparta had two sons.
I know I've played some clips of Dante doing cool things, but Virgil is just as cool. Cooler? Certainly not. But he is just as cool. But since he defeated Beowulf, he gets the Devil Arm, a pair of gauntlets, the hand-to-hand weapon in this game. And to activate the portal, he needs the amulet and the blood of Sparta. So that's what he does. Notice how his lip trembles as he cuts his own hand. He might act all tough, but still a bit of weakness. However, even though Virgil did everything he needed to, it still isn't working. Mission 13 is our next fight against Virgil, but after our last encounter, he decides to set aside Yamato and get in some practice with his new weapon. Gotta say, even though he got it 38 seconds ago, he's pretty good with it. His moveset is different, of course, but your strategy shouldn't change much. Let him get a combo up, close the gap quickly enough, and punish. Simple enough. However, beware of his teleport moves. He teleports into the sky and dives downward. Don't be like me, create a massive gap. Don't stinger or double jump like I do, just dodge. And when he goes into Devil Trigger, respond with your own DT or just wait it out. Just like you, his Devil Trigger doesn't last forever. In the cutscene afterward, notice how Virgil went back to using Yamato. He's underestimated Dante here, he's gotta go back to the weapon he's more familiar with. However, Lady shows up, still believing that Virgil tricked Arkham. And then, Jester shows up. He then reveals that he is Arkham. Your Arkham can shapeshift instantly without any sort of sound or transformation. Gotta say, I don't think I know anyone like that. He then reveals that the reason the portal didn't open is because Virgil didn't do everything. He added the amulets and Sparta's blood, but he also needed the blood of a priestess that Sparta sacrificed. A priestess who was Lady's ancestor, meaning her blood runs in Lady's veins. So Arkham stabs his own daughter and breaks the spell. He's cornered for a moment, but he just kicks everyone and throws them off. The tower ascended, but on a more important note, we get Beowulf. I guess the gauntlets fell off of Virgil as he fell, but I won't complain. We get to use it now. It's a lot like Ifrit, but it has no fire elements. And later on in the mission, there's also this cutscene foreshadowing a weapon in a later game. Then, about a mission later, Arkham ascends into hell. I thought the realm of hell was beneath ours and heaven was the one above us, but alright. We also have a boss fight against Lady. She's the only human fight in this game, probably in the whole series, and she's not really difficult. She keeps running around the arena, so I usually just run around her and eventually she shows up. She'll also run on top of the bookshelves, and while she does stand still for a bit, don't fall for it or do a quick combo. After a few seconds, some bombs will go off and knock you off right while she runs away. But again, this isn't too hard a fight. After the fight... yeah, no, he's into her. Well, who would it be? Anyway, Dante finally explains that this whole thing isn't just Arkham's fault, it's a bit of Sparta's too. This was kind of bugging me every time Dante and Lady met. Lady keeps on saying that she's responsible for this whole thing since her father is causing this. And while that's not untrue, by this logic Dante's responsible too, right? Why is he saying something now, 16 missions in, nearly 6 hours into my playthrough? I don't know, maybe this is because I already know most of the series lore, but it bugged me a lot. Regardless, Dante explains how Sparta sealed away the Hellgate, which is what Timothy Grew is, and Lady finally sees that Dante is more than a demon. Dante also finally sees what Sparta saw in humanity 2 millennia ago and why they're worth protecting. Lady throws away her chance at revenge and gives her rocket launcher to Dante. And this rocket launcher means more to Lady than at first glance, as the description tells us it's named after Lady's dead mother. In the next cutscene, Arkham has finally gained Sparta's power and has acquired Force Edge. There's also this segment of the level, and it seems familiar somehow. And speaking of that game, Dante's DT looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? Almost as if that game and this design were created by the same person. Alright, in the event you don't know what I'm talking about, in 2003 Atlus and Capcom made a deal with each other. Dante appears in the international version of Shin Megami Tensei 3, and Kazuma Kaneko, the art director for a good few Mega 10 games including Persona 5, designed Dante's and Virgil Devil Triggers in this game. So yeah, I think that's kinda neat. The boss of this mission is Dante's Shadow. The strategy here is to open the blinds and blind the shadow with light. Once all the blinds are open, the shadow is vulnerable. The fight itself isn't much to talk about. After you defeat the guy, you get the doppelganger style. Again, I didn't use this style, but judging by the description, you'd create cloning yourself. Mission 18 has... for Primus' sake, it's my least favorite trope in video games, a boss rush. After some of the comments I got in my Mega Man 11 video, I can see why some people enjoy boss rushes, but I still don't. It just wastes my time, especially in this game where I know the next 2 missions have some really cool stuff. But before that, I have to fight some bosses I've already fought with some different equipment. If you even bother changing your equipment at all. Thankfully, unlike Mega Man boss rushes, this one is mercifully short. See this tablet here? You can see the different gems scattered around, and you need to make any of these gems connect with each other. For example, make the green, white, and light blue gems connect, and you can leave. Simple enough. Just don't make the mistake I did and mistake one of the gems here for a different one. Mission 19 has our first and final fight against Arkham, unless you count the fights with Jester. At first he takes the form of Sparta, but the actual boss has you go against this giant blob monster. I have no clue why Arkham would want to transform into this, but sure, I guess. Overall, it's a pretty simple fight, nothing much to say on the gameplay portion. However, halfway through, Virgil appears. Our first time seeing these two fight together for more than 3 seconds. And yeah, this also extends into gameplay. By pressing the style button, you can call Virgil to your side. There are 2 downsides though. Firstly, you can't enter Devil Trigger while you fight with Virgil. Second, since Virgil has taken your style button, you can't use any styles here. But I think fighting alongside Virgil is a worthy trade-off. After the fight, we see these two just kicking the crap out of Arkham, and they even swap weapons, and then...
Remember what we used to say? Jackpot.
Not very classy for someone's dying words.
And with Arkham's defeat, the Force Edge and Sparta's Amulet are released. And of course, we gotta take those before we go back to the human world. Mission 20 is the final one of the game and probably my favorite. First, we see what became of Arkham. He returned to the human world only to find Lady. And she does what she came here to do.
Mary died a long time ago. My name is Lady. Goodbye, Father.
No!
I thought I wasn't gonna cry.
And to return to our two favorite demons, I'm not even going to describe what happens, just watch the cutscene, it's that good.
Give that to me.
No way. You got your own.
Well, I want yours too.
What are you gonna do with all that power, huh? No matter how hard you try, you're never gonna be like Father.
We're wasting time!
We are the sons of Sparta. Within each of us flows his blood. But more importantly, his soul! And now, my soul is saying it wants to stop you!
Unfortunately, our souls are at odds, brother. I need more power.
And we're supposed to be twins.
Twins. Right.
Our final boss is Virgil, wielding both Yamato and Force Edge. This boss fight is pretty similar to all the other ones against him, with the only new thing I noticed being how he used Round Trip. And honestly, I only know that move because of Marvel vs. Capcom. After the fight, Virgil is truly defeated, and while Dante stays for the human world, Virgil stays for the demon world. Back in the human world, Dante returns to Klingon to Lady, and we hear probably one of my favorite lines in just anything. It must have been so funny to read in the booth, but it was said so seriously.
Maybe somewhere out there, even a devil may cry when he loses a loved one. Don't you think?
And we've got some playable credits. That's cool, not every game does this. The goal is to defeat more than 100 demons in this credit scene. Do that and you unlock an extra cutscene. First, we see Dante finally opening his demon hunting shop. Wanna know the name?
Devil may cry.
Second, we see Virgil arriving in the demon world, and he decides he can take on the Prince of Darkness. I guess this answers the question I had in the DMC1 video. Mundus' true form is just 3 red glowing orbs. After beating the game, you get some game clear art, which is cool. You also unlock a gallery, Bloody Palace, Virgil's campaign, some new costumes, all the cutscenes, and some illustrations. So, now that I've beaten the game, you might think we're done here. You'd be wrong. I still got some post-game stuff to go through, plus this game's accompanying a manga. Hi, Editing Zemshia here. I'm not gonna talk about the game's manga, there's very little to say about it. We see Lady's mother for the first time and only time, and we literally just see her from the side, hardly anything. We see Dante and Virgil's first meeting since they were children, and that's it. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything more, there's nothing more to it. I think I should start off with some of the post-game stuff. Firstly, Bloody Palace mode. It's basically an enemy gauntlet where you fight tons of enemies for by the Allspark 10,000 floors. Yeah, no, I'm not doing all that. But after you get through Bloody Palace, you unlock the super variant of the character you beat it with. So that's neat. There are also some extra costumes you get for beating the game on different difficulty levels. For Dante, you have the default costume. If you beat the game on easy, like me, or on normal, you get shirtless Dante from DMC1. I really wish this wasn't the only game to give me that option. When you beat the game on normal mode, you get DMC1 Dante. Beat the game on hard, and you get DMC1 Dante, but without the coat. As well, you also get the legendary Dark Knight costume. If you beat the game on very hard mode, you get Super Dante. The DT gauge doesn't deplete when in DT, but techniques that use DT will consume it. Your health will also not regenerate in DT. And once you beat the game on Dante Must Die mode, you get the Super Legendary Dark Knight. Basically, actual infinite DT, and you get your health back while in DT. However, that isn't all for costumes. As I mentioned earlier, you unlock Virgil's campaign after beating the game, and this means he has costumes of his own. When you get the game on easy or normal, you get coatless Virgil. Beat the game on hard and you get corrupt Virgil. This is basically what Virgil looked like while he was under Mundus' control. Beat the game on very hard and you unlock Super Virgil. This costume functions identically to Super Dante. And beat the game on Dante Must Die and you unlock Super Corrupt Virgil. This costume functions identically to the Super Legendary Dark Knight. And finally, Lady also has one alternate costume. You don't select it from a menu, rather her costume will automatically change when Dante is in the Legendary Dark Knight costume, coatless DMC1 costume, Corrupt Virgil, or coatless Virgil is being used. Lady's alt costume is called the Rider Suit, and it's a jumpsuit with some red leather accessories. Damn, that's a lot of costumes. Now then, let's talk Virgil's campaign. It's identical to Dante's, with a different beginning cutscene and all other cutscenes removed. Also, during the fights where you normally go against Virgil, instead of going up against Dante, you just fight a red coat Virgil. Disappointing, but oh well. He starts with 3 weapons: Yamato, Beowulf, and Force Edge. Yamato is Virgil's main weapon, and I'm pretty sure the one he can do most with. Beowulf functions similarly to how Dante used it. And Force Edge is more like an extension of Yamato, as Virgil uses both when switching to Force Edge. And instead of guns, Virgil summons swords and fires them at the opponent. Now, that's pretty cool. Virgil also has his own style, Dark Slayer. It's the only style he has, and it functions like Trickster, you teleport around. I didn't play too much of Virgil's campaign and only made it to about mission 5. However, please don't make the same mistake I did. You can't have only one save file where you play as Dante and Virgil, you need separate saves for each of them. Don't be like me and accidentally overwrite your Dante save. One final note about the game before moving on to the manga is the cheat code I hear no one talking about. On the title screen, hold left bumper, left trigger, right trigger, up on the D-pad, left on the D-pad, then pull the left stick to the right and rotate it downwards until you hear Devil May Cry. This cheat code disables achievements as well as saving and loading, but you unlock pretty much everything. Yeah, how else did you think I got footage of all these costumes? Play the game myself. No, I don't feel like playing this game 9 more times. And this concludes my video on Devil May Cry 3. After finally playing this game, after hearing so many people say so many good things, I can see why so many people love it. I still prefer DMC5, but it's certainly a close fight. I definitely have a few nitpicks that I didn't mention because they were so small, but overall I still love this game. Who knows, maybe one day I'll try and beat the game on every difficulty and stream myself doing it. But that's all for this video. See ya.